Welcome everyone who's live and who is watching the recorded session. Uh, this is your content writing workshop for from Yuva. I am your mentor. First things first, I want you guys to not be quiet. Make it interactive session. It is content writing and not some technical aspect of skill. Content writing can get as technical as coding, but you have to be very interactive about it. So keep on asking questions, sharing your thoughts. You can raise your hand at any point of time. Also, open up your cameras. That shows me how seriously you are into the course. And third thing, I want you guys to attend all of the live sessions that comes. First, second, and third live sessions which will be there. You should attend that. Now, I am basically a pivoted marketer and advertiser. I've done engineering, that too from a core branch of mechanical. From early days on, I had two passions: only to be in front of the camera, and the other one to do something around the engines, around the motors that goes and makes a sound. Hi, Sanshida. Nice to see you. So, I took engineering and side by side, I started vlogging in 2017. So, where I come from, it's the cleanest city right now of India, Indore. And at that point of time, I was the one who started vlogging culture majorly with my face in the vlog. And then it started growing on. I started understanding YouTube. I started helping people around. I started helping the major famous pages of Indore to build their structure around it. Then a lot of things happened. I started podcast. I started a cloud kitchen for a year or so, and I did well in both of those places. Then I started doing something which I did not thought of at first, a job. And from that, I now have started my agency after leaving the job. It's been a year that I'm running my agency, and throughout my, if you see the agency experience, it's 4 years. But if you count from 2017, from when I have started my content journey, it's been more than 6 years that I am into this game. And that's what you sensed me and put me here with you guys to understand content writing. First things first, you need to understand you are having a great leverage of being able to understand a lot of things and to have different courses. So appreciate any course, any YouTube video that comes on your screen. Don't just take it for granted at any point, not just this course, but anything that comes to your feed. Try to figure out what you can learn from it, not how you can criticize it. Okay. And second is, you all have been content writers. You all have been writing from the beginning of your times of using a pencil. You started writing from that point onwards. You've made great greeting cards for your family, for your friends, for your teachers. You've written cute messages to your best friends, rude messages to your ex, maybe. You've written a great share of apologies to your school, maybe, principal, maybe, and also your siblings and parents. So you all have been a great observer, and you've been someone who has been writing content. So you're not out of this content game. Today, we are going to start a process of structuring it up and looking at from a perspective which is more professionally inclined. Cool. So are you guys excited to do content writing workshop? Don't give me thumb. React with the lit emoji in the chat box. My clients give me thumbs up, and that's understandable. We don't want to talk much because the client won't understand my technicalities, and I will not be able to scratch my head more than 5 minutes with the client. So thumbs up is good thing there, not here. Wow, nobody's excited. Okay. Where you guys are again. Oh, great, Sanchita. Nice. Nice to see you. That at least you are excited. The rest all are, having their dinners, I guess. Anika is there. Oh, this is all girls live. That's nice. The Sanchita, Anika, Varsha, Ayushi, Roshni. Nice. Girl power. Nice. Open up your cameras if you're not having dinners and not sleeping. So we begin our first session with understanding the concepts of content writing. And in this particular session, we'll be talking about two things. What is content writing and the skills we should be nurturing as content writers. This industry 2.0, does anybody have any idea what industry 2.0 stands for here? No? See, this is easier, no? With your camera open, you nod, and I know that you don't. The industry 2.0 is basically when internet happened. Before that, imagine when you do not have any internet. The world does not have any internet. They relied on magazines, newspapers, and books and letters. So these three, four things are majorly distributed to a certain extent. It cannot go beyond a certain extent in, let's say, 2000s and 1990s and around that time. So the writers also had a very limited population where, let's say, one state is maximum capacity of a newspaper which is being served to this kind of a locality, or at max people who can afford magazines were 15 people out of 200 people who can afford magazines at that time. So when internet happened, the knowledge was so accessible for the readers and for the writers that now you can sit from the farthest end of the world and can read to the other end, to the content from the other end writers. And so this bridge was made with internet, and that is what gave the birth to this content writing of industry 2.0. We do we write content in this industry around three four things. First, the content writing now becomes a part of your digital marketing. So marketing is a process which is not just done for sales, but it is also done to make awareness, spread awareness around the brand, around the benefits of the brand, and also to know how much of the capacity you have. So it becomes a element of digital marketing, content writer. Whatever you have to start, you'll have to be now on Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You have to be there, right? Cannot skip any of these platforms. So when you are there, either you are writing caption, either you are writing content on the post, you have a website, so you need content for the website. If you are writing a blog on the basis of your personal experience, you need to write content so that people can come and read it. So it becomes a basic element, one of the basic and the core element of digital marketing. Now, the second thing that is important is that you write for a specific target audience. Now, this is important. Understand that you are speaking to your friend in a certain way. But suddenly, when your parents enter the room, your tone, your voice, and the choice of your words differ. Why? Because the target audience listening to you is not just your friend anymore, it's your parents as well, or a parent, or a teacher. So your tone got shifted altogether because your target audience was shifted. So you cannot talk to a Gen Z in the same way you will talk to a millennial or a 10th grader and the 12th grader. You cannot talk to them in the same way when it comes to academics. So you need to find target audience. It can be on the basis of region, behavioral patterns, interests, age groups, and professions. Also, one thing, behavioral aspects. These five, six differences sums up and makes a set of, like, these are different sets of target audience. Now you can choose to have a certain age group from a few region, right? For example, your target audience can be teenagers of tier 1 cities. So now you're mixing two things to make one target audience, which is very specific. So you can mix these target audiences and go specific down the line to understand your audience and start writing content around. Now, initially, before you start selling anything, what you have to do to make people listen to your brand, understand your vision, and start searching or reading the reviews for your brand. You need to create awareness. Has this ever happened in your group? Someone comes and says, "Oh, that great cafe has come up. It has great vibes, and we should go and check it out." Does this happen in your group? Yeah, right. Sanchita, yeah, I can see you, Sanchita, so I know. So that's what the thing about awareness is, Sanchita. You gave a, a number of reels, a number of blogs, a number of articles on your website and your profile to make people aware that this is a great trendy cafe that has come up in your town, and this area it is located, and this kind of menu it has. Create awareness. You create awareness around your target audience so that people start listening to you, people start understanding you, people start searching your brand. And this is in both cases. You know what personal brand is? So you've seen Ankur Wariku or this guy, what is it? Raj Shamani or Ranveer Alabadia, Beer Biceps. You know, Beer Biceps. You know Beer Biceps, right?
Yes, sir.
So Beer Biceps is Ranveer Alabadia, and his face is now a person, a brand itself, right? Wherever you will see
Yes,
his face, you'll connect to a certain
yes,
value,
sir.
certain emotion. That's what awareness is. It's for the personal brand. Just what we were just talking about before we came to personal branding. You need to aware. And second, for the brand itself. So you understand what your target audience is, what kind of audiences you want to target. You go and search around them. You go and see how are they interacting with the blogs, what comments are they dropping on Instagram, what kind of LinkedIn profiles are they having, what kind of tweets or X posts are they sharing. All of this data you will find out, you will search, and you'll get to an understanding what to cater them, what recipe or what type of Maggie would they like to eat, And then you start giving them that kind of Maggie, which is your brand awareness. People come to you for that awareness, because of that awareness, and you start selling. Throughout this thing, make one thing very clear: whenever you write, give people clarity on what you want them to understand. If I write a blog, for example, whatever till this point, whatever I've said, you've got it right. The clarity on what you have to do as a writer. That's the thing you need to give and inculcate in your content piece. Do you want them to feel motivated? Do you want them to feel inspired? Do you want them to book the demo of your product? Do you want them to think certainly about certain things? That kind of clarity you need to give them. Why? Because their mind is cluttered with so many thoughts, so much of content, so much of information, that they want a clarity. They want a clear path. They want someone to tell them certain thing, and maybe they'll reject it, but the thought lingers in their mind when it there is a clear action or clear message through your content. So moving on, we have four major objectives that comes into this picture of content writing. First, as we discussed, content writing becomes the way to enter digital sphere. Then you start, when you've entered the digital sphere, you start giving out your professional viewpoints. Let's say when you go on a website of a brand, what do you first see is about the brand. They have written a small two-line about the brand, about what they stand for. They might have a whole paragraph defining what is their mission, what is their vision, what are their values. You will find blogs and articles around the current topics in their field, the field in which their business is operating. So when you write as a brand or a personal brand, you are giving out your professional viewpoint on this. And when you are creating a giving out professional viewpoint to the audience or your target audience, you start creating a specific persona of your brand in their mind. Now understand, this is important. Why? To understand this from analogy, you go in a group, you go and talk to these people who are strangers, you make them friend, and over the period of time, you can define each of that person individually into a characteristic or a trait. For example, let's say me, Varsha, Sanshita are in a group. After a point, Sanshita is like, ki, "Arey, this Harsh sir hai na, is very talkative. He's very very gyan giving person." Once Varsha and Sanchita are having this conversation, maybe Varsha can tell me that, Sanchita is very yes kind of a person. She says yes to everything that you say. She doesn't even talk. It's so boring. So you start creating a viewpoint. So it is important that as a brand, when you give out your opinion on the topics of your field or of your niche, you give them a professional viewpoint, not something which is diplomatic. Because, like this analogy, individually we are making our personality or recognition in some or the other way. But the brand is not individual, the brand is talking to thousands of people at one time. And why this becomes important over the period of time for a brand to give out professional viewpoint again and again, again and again, because it starts demonstrating their expertise in this industry, whatever industry they are in. if they give out professional viewpoint, if they are talking about the recent shifts in the trend, if they are talking about recent uh, accidents that might have happened, recent developments that might have happened, or anything and everything that comes into their industry, they talk about it, give a viewpoint, they maybe predict something around it, they play around their own industry and give out valuable content, and also putting out their viewpoint on the sustainability of it, the usability of it, the beneficial points of it. That gives, that demonstrates the expertise that this brand has in its own industry. And so this becomes so important after started when you've started creating your viewpoint, and now you have shifted to this expert demonstrating your expertise. This shift is so important because from here to here, you have started making, developing roots in the minds and hearts of people as a brand, and now you start becoming a part of their life, of their woke choices, of their calculated risk, of their lens to understand that industry. And when this happens, when people start building trust on you, the ultimate thing happens, that is, people start giving their information to you, starts purchasing your product, starts um booking your demos. The last point that it is here to enhance the conversion rate. This happens when you start creating your professional viewpoint, when you demonstrate your expertise, and when you do this over the period of time, people start building trust, and with this growing trust, make them come to your brand and try out your product, your services. Make sense? Anything up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Anything that you guys want to ask up to this point?
No, sir.
I actually speak a lot, no?
Not really, sir.
So this is the last leg of our session today, but this is something really interesting to understand. Before we start this skill sets, one thing you need to understand, that it might look very easy to write content. It might sound so interesting to write a great ad. It might be very easy to critique something as well, but it is very tricky to write a good content piece, and it needs a lot of hard work and smart work. But one thing for sure, persistence. You need to be persistent, you need to be consistent around this game. It's not something like math that you've learned to add and subtract. This will last with you forever and ever. Multiplication, division, it's not something like that. You have to seek out for content patterns, formats, and adaptability. So the first skill that we need to ace as a content writer is versatility. You need to be, so when I was working in my job, in my in other marketing agency, during that period of over 1 year, 7 8 months, I handled more than 20 brands, and every different niche. Okay, astrology, academy, adventure park, to cafes, to coachings, to even an initiative which was named Harwala, which used to take flowers and garlands and then they used to recycle it. From that to a personal brand content as well for founders, writing for founders and everything. So when you do that, you need to be able to switch your writing style, your writing tone, your voice that you write in, because I cannot write in the same way and I cannot choose the same words as I can choose in cafe. And so the choice of words for cafes and adventure park and hospital will be different. All of these three will have different approaches to content. Why? Because their brand awareness is different, their target audience is different, and their services or the product is very different. So you need to write and write for every brand in different tone. To build this versatility, the first thing that you need to do is research oriented. You need to research a lot. You need to start finding facts. You need to start understanding how to differentiate between what is a fact and what is an assumption. And then you start representing that fact in your authentic fact in your content pieces. Why? Because people want social validation. And also, the professional viewpoint of a brand will increase by sharing the authentic information so that people can go in their groups and start giving out the data that you have given them and be a better person in their group. The third is communication skill. Now here your understanding becomes very important. If you have seen Zomato, if you have seen Swiggy, they are very casual brands when it comes to their content. But one thing they make very clear, howsoever they're making memes, whatsoever they're doing with their content, they make one thing very clear that they're into a professional relationship. They establish this fine line that this is a professional relationship in which we are going in. So however jokes you can make, they can reply sarcastically, but they make one thing very clear that this is a professional relationship and not something that you know they are investors in speaking. The fourth, I contradict, but I have written this: prioritizing quality. You should focus on quality rather than quantity. This will only happen, and I have written this to contradict myself here. You should focus on quantity. Why? Because you need to write 50, 100, 200 content pieces, blogs, to make that 5 blogs which are greatly readable, generate great traffic, makes your portfolio better. For that, you need to invest that kind of effort. When I started working, on my first day, I joined as project manager. I was handling 8 brands at one point of time when I joined only. Okay. And for that 8 brands, they said for the first day, write copy pieces for this particular brand. And I wrote a certain number of copy pieces. And that was more than 200. Okay. Out of those 200, only in double digit, less than 50, less than 50 copy pieces were selected. And they added on saying, build on this thought that you've written. And the next day, I wrote more on those thoughts. Out of, and this time I wrote less. I thought, if I give more, they'll select less only. So I'll give less only. So my less also was more than 150. Out of those 150, this time again less than 40, less than 30 were selected. They said, okay, build more on these. And at the end of the week, I wrote more than 600 copy pieces. Out of that, 10 were selected. Imagine the quantity of content that you have to write to be able to stand at a position where you have wired your brain that this works and this does not work. So you need to write content, okay? Whenever you are joining these sessions, whatever kind of internships that you're seeking, one thing is very, very, very clear. Without you guys writing quantity of content, you cannot land a great internship. Also, writing quantity of content will help you diversify your portfolio. It will help you make and add content pieces, add your experience, show your style to the recruiter as well, which is very important. Right now, some of you might have some content pieces in their uh, draft, or some poetry that you might have written, a story that you might have written. But all of these things are not yet out. So you need to write, you need to find your space, you need to start putting out content so that it can be added on your portfolio. The next set of skills are SEO, that stands for search engine optimization. This is a tool that helps you. This is a practice that will help you to reach your target audience. You'll get to know about this in further sessions. There's a proper session about SEO only. The sixth is proofreading. Whenever you are writing a content, please, you must read it after you're done writing. You need to see that it is going from the brand's perspective, and small errors like in the grammar or spellings might give a big toll on the brand's image. Seventh is you need to be observant. You need to see what your brand wants to communicate to the client, or what is your client's demand, and how can you give it out to the audience, or the shape of your brand's voice. So you need to be very observant. Eighth is punctuality. Here, punctuality doesn't mean on time, it means 2 days before. Why? Because there is a chain of command, chain of approval that goes into play. So if there is any edit, if there is any concern, any question, any doubt, you should have some time to go back and rewrite, revisit the thought process if any edit arrives at your email box or WhatsApp message. You should be able to address that and deliver the final thing. Also, differentiating from this observant, I have one more skill. You need to be observing. You need to have a skill of observation around you. What observation does is it gives you different ideas. It gives you how people react to certain things, what emotions people connect to more, what expressions are more acceptable, and what reactions are more engaging. So you need to observe people around you, situations around you, nature around you, your thought, your ideas, your conviction. This will give you a lot of content. That will give you a lot of idea. This particular thing will help you to cope up in any situation with an idea. So you need to observe things. With that said, thank you. Do you have anything that you want to ask? Or do you guys want to introduce yourself after the whole session? If you have any doubt, you can reach out to me on either Instagram or on Gmail. I am dropping my email address and my Insta handle. This handle is the same for LinkedIn as well. You can find me there with linkedin.in/unusualharsh. So ask me if you have any doubt. I believe the next session that we are in, you are not the strangers anymore that you feel at this in this session. I would expect more interactions. And one thing, if you want to do, you can do as a task. Okay, before we do one thing, mentor and teacher are different. A mentor will just appreciate you, walk you, will just show you the path. Teachers walk you down the road. Teachers guide you and they walk with you. They parent you also at times. Mentors are not like that all the time. Sometimes we will help you. So I'll appreciate if you do anything that I'm saying right now. One of the, if you can take it as a task or you can take it as an activity, take two brand of your choice, read their blogs, take two blogs from each brand. So you take two brands, you read their blogs, and then out of those blogs that you've read, you take two blogs from brand A and two blogs from brand B. Total of four blogs. You write it down on pen and paper with your pen and paper. You write four blogs in your copy. For brand A, two blogs, for brand B, two blogs. Now you take a topic suitable from brand A, any blog, or the two topics that you've written. You take one topic out of that and you rewrite blog in according to your understanding of the brand now. And similar for brand B. You read different blogs of brand A and brand B. Then you take two blogs of brand A, you write them down in your copy on page. You take two blogs from brand B, you write them down on copy and on page slash page. Then you take a topic for brand A and write your blog now, your understanding, a blog according to your understanding. And you take brand B and write a blog according to your understanding of a topic of your choice from brand B's industry. Got it? Cool. And in the next session, let's hear this out. Whatever you've written, and we will see how we can improvise on it. And I appreciate any effort that you will make. So, since this is all girls live, show me what girls power is. Show me the women power that everybody stands for. And you all seek out as well. Don't be shy. Be who you are, which is powerful and strong. With that, good night. Bye bye.
Good